As humans, we naturally gravitate towards people we connect with, whether in real life or through fictional characters in our favorite movies and shows. We say things like, I want to be like Blair Waldorf, or wow, I really resonate with Elle Woods. Growing up, my favorite Disney princess was Cinderella because I really resonated with the life that she lives and she embodied a fantasy that I had in my head. And to my surprise, many of you felt the same way. And so I wanted to explore this topic a little bit more. Why is it that we gravitate towards certain Disney princesses? The answer could reveal a lot more about us than we realize. Our struggles, our desires, and our deepest fantasies. Welcome back to the It Girl Playbook, and in today's episode, we will be exploring what your favorite Disney princess says about you. Our favorite characters often serve as mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves that we may not even realize we're exploring. In psychology, this is known as projection. We see elements of our own personality, struggles, or aspirations. We're naturally drawn to characters who just quote unquote get us. She might embody your inner world or the version of yourself you aspire to become. Her story may parallel your own struggles, and in a weird but comforting way, their story offers both a sense of hope and escapism. Their transformation and happily ever after remind us that change and happiness are possible even when life feels overwhelming. So before we dive into some of the most popular characters, I want you to take a moment to think of the Disney princess you gravitate towards most. Was there a name that immediately popped into your head? There is no right or wrong answer. Listen to your soul. And once you have the answer in mind, let's dive right into it. Starting with Cinderella, she represents hope, resilience, and transformation. She embodies the belief that no matter how tough life gets, change is possible. Her story resonates with those who feel overlooked, burdened by responsibilities, or are stuck in a really tough situation. She's for those longing for a dramatic change or a fresh start. If Cinderella is your favorite, you likely value kindness, patience, and perseverance, but may feel unseen, underappreciated, or weighed down by responsibilities that aren't entirely yours. Deep down, you might be craving a major transformation, the chance to reinvent yourself, or you might even hold on to the fantasy of being rescued, believing that the right person or the right opportunity will pull you out of your struggle and into a better life. If life feels overwhelming or unfair, trust that good things are coming, but don't just wait for them. Work towards them. There is that saying that after every storm, there is a rainbow. So believe that whatever you're going through is temporary. The change you're longing for is right around the corner, but rather than waiting for someone to come save you, save yourself. Even Cinderella risked herself and took her chance to go to the ball to be seen. I truly believe that there may be a Prince Charming out there waiting for you, but I also believe that no one is obligated to save you, especially if you aren't willing to help yourself first. Focus on building your self-worth, knowing that you are deserving of the life you dream of, and take proactive steps towards making that into a reality for yourself. Self-worth also comes from reevaluating what you will and will not tolerate. Sometimes saving yourself, especially for those feeling overwhelmed, it means setting better boundaries and learning to say no. Next, we have Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Belle represents intelligence, curiosity, and the desire for something more. She's the dreamer who refuses to conform and seeks deeper meaning beyond the surface level beauty. She resonates with people who feel misunderstood, out of place in their current environment, or are looking to escape the ordinary in search of something greater. If Belle is your favorite, you're likely introspective, very intelligent, and value deep, meaningful connections. You crave meaningful conversations and may struggle with shallow social interactions. You might also have the habit of seeing the potential in people, sometimes to the point of overlooking red flags, hoping that they'll change. Your challenge is to embrace your curiosity while also staying grounded in reality. Wanting more is great, but don't romanticize people or situations that don't actually serve you. I feel like this is so common among people who stay in friendships and pursue relationships for the potential that they see. It's definitely a great thing to be positive and to see the good in people, but one thing that took me an embarrassingly long time to realize is that friendships and relationships, they aren't just made up of the good times only. You need to take a look at it from a whole perspective. Just because you're laughing and joking with your friend one day doesn't make it okay for them to yell and curse at you the next day. Just because your partner is nice to you today doesn't make lying and cheating the next day okay. okay. You can't just disregard the disrespect for the sake of potential, and this applies to all different kinds of relationships and situations as well. Even Belle, she never stayed or came back for the potential that the beast would turn into a prince. She was willing to stay with the beast and fell for him as he was. Like Belle, don't be afraid to explore the unknown, but remember, you're not responsible for saving anyone but yourself. Expand your mind, chase your dreams, and make sure that the story that you're living and creating for yourself is the one that you want to read. Next, we have Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Ariel represents curiosity, freedom, and the courage to explore beyond what is familiar. She's drawn to the unknown, willing to take the risk, and refuses to accept limitations placed on her. Her story resonates with those who feel trapped, whether by their environment, societal expectations, or even their own fears and dreams of breaking free. If Ariel is your favorite, you likely have a rebellious streak and a strong desire to carve out your own path. You might feel misunderstood by those around you, especially if your dreams seem unrealistic to them. You're willing to make bold moves to create the life that you want, but sometimes you might act impulsively without considering the full consequences. Even Ariel's decision to go on land and dealing with the consequences of losing her voice being an afterthought is a reflection of this. Your challenge is to embrace your adventurous side without losing yourself in the pursuit of something new. Wanting more is completely valid. Your desire for freedom and exploration is what will lead you to incredible experiences. But before taking a leap, take a step back to consider the full consequences of your actions. Take the time to evaluate your decision to ensure that the changes you make are aligned with your long-term goals and to make sure that you're not trading one set of restrictions for another. As you step into this new version of yourself, you might even find that some friends and familiar faces will fall away. But like Ariel, the ones who truly support you will always stand by you, and as you grow, you'll naturally attract people who align with who you're becoming rather than who you've been. Next, we have Mulan. Mulan is a symbol of bravery, honor, and the ability to break societal expectations. She represents the power of challenging traditional roles and fighting for what's right. She teaches us that strength comes from within and that staying true to yourself is more powerful than conforming to what others expect. Her story resonates with those who feel the pressure to meet certain roles or standards, especially when those expectations conflict with their true selves. If Mulan is your favorite, you might be courageous, strong-willed, and willing to challenge the status quo to achieve your goals. Mulan reflects your inner strength and determination. She inspires you to rise above limitations, defy expectations, and embrace your power even when faced with adversity. You might struggle with feeling like you have to prove yourself, whether to family, society, or even to yourself. Not fitting into traditional role creates this room to question your own worth, feeling like you aren't enough because you don't conform to those expectations. And there's a part of you that fears not being quote unquote enough. And so, like Mulan, you may feel the need to push yourself even harder to be stronger and be more capable to prove that you do deserve a seat at the table. This often leads to burnout or self-doubt because we believe that our worth is determined by how much we can accomplish or how closely we match others' expectations. But the truth is, strength isn't about constantly fighting to meet external standards. It's about embracing your authentic self even when others don't understand or accept it. Mulan's story shows us that your worth isn't determined by how well we fit into a specific mold. Next, we have Rapunzel from Tangled. Rapunzel symbolizes innocence, curiosity, and personal freedom. Her journey isn't just about physically escaping her tower, it's also about breaking free from emotional manipulation and discovering the truth about herself, her desires, and her power. She represents the journey of breaking free from constraints to live your authentic life, resonating with those who feel isolated, stuck, or feel like they are trapped, whether by their own circumstances, self-doubt, or the expectations of others. If Rapunzel is your favorite, you likely have a very bright, adventurous spirit, but you struggle with the fear of the unknown. You crave independence and new experiences experiences, yet something, whether it's fear, obligation, or emotional ties, keeps you playing it safe. You might have been raised to doubt yourself or feel guilty for wanting more, making it incredibly hard to fully trust yourself in your own decisions. This is especially common if you were raised in an overprotective or emotionally manipulative environment, similar to Rapunzel's relationship with Mother Gothel. Every time Rapunzel expresses her desire to explore, Gothel guilted her into believing that she was selfish or incapable, conditioning her to stay small and stay isolated. True freedom starts with trusting yourself. Start by taking small risks, whether it's speaking up for yourself, making an independent decision, or stepping outside of your comfort zone. Like Rapunzel, you don't need permission to live your own life. The world is a lot bigger than the tower that you've been kept in. Go explore it. Next, we have Jasmine from Aladdin. Jasmine represents independence, confidence, and defying expectations. She embodies the desire to break free from societal constraints and choosing her own path, whether it's in love, life, or identity. Jasmine resonates with individuals who feel confined by the expectations of others, especially in relationships or social roles. She speaks to those seeking independence and the courage to make their own decisions despite external pressures. If Jasmine is your favorite, you likely value your autonomy and independence. You might feel restricted by tradition or societal norms and long for the freedom to make your own choices and live authentically. Deep down, you crave a life of excitement, passion, and independence. However, you might also have a rebellious streak, pushing back so hard against expectations that sometimes you act out of defiance rather than true desire. If independence isn't just about rejecting control, it's also about knowing who you truly are and what you truly want. Ask yourself if you're making choices because they align with your dreams or simply because you don't want to be told what to do. Stand firm on your boundaries, but also allow yourself to receive help from those who genuinely support you. Next, we have Tiana from The Princess and the Frog. Tiana represents ambition, discipline, and perseverance. She embodies the belief that hard work and dedication will lead to success. Her story resonates with those who have big dreams and are willing to put in the effort to achieve them, even if it means sacrificing temporary comfort for long-term goals. If Tiana is your favorite, you're likely very hardworking, determined, and goal-oriented. You take pride in your work ethic and refuse to rely on luck or easy handouts. However, you might struggle with burnout, believing that rest is unproductive or that success only comes through constant hustle and grinding. You may also have a hard time accepting help, feeling like you have to do everything on your own to prove your worth. Hard work is essential, but so is balance and knowing when to pause and enjoy life. Tiana had to learn that love, joy, and magic exist beyond work. True success isn't just about your achievements, it's about living a life that is fulfilling and you genuinely find joy living. Next is Snow White. Snow White embodies innocence, kindness, and unwavering optimism. She represents the belief that goodness and kindness can overcome even the darkest situations. Her story resonates with those who see the best in people, value harmony, and believe in the power of love and friendship to heal and uplift others. If Snow White is your favorite, you may resonate with the shared experience of jealousy or a betrayal from those you trust. You likely have a gentle, nurturing nature and a deep trust in the world or desire to but have been burnt before. Snow White reflects your ability to maintain hope and kindness even in very difficult circumstances. She reminds you to stay true to your values as they will eventually lead you to happiness. However, Snow White's story is also a warning that sometimes the biggest threats do come from the ones that are closest to us. Jealousy can turn admiration into resentment, and not everyone will celebrate your happiness. Kindness is a strength, but it should never come at the expense of your well-being. Protect your energy and be discerning about who you let into your life. Not everyone deserves your trust, and not everyone will have good intentions. Like Snow White, you likely are very caring, but also remind yourself that you also deserve to be cared for in return. So surround yourself with people who pour into you just as much as you pour into them. And most importantly, importantly, while valuing harmony is an incredibly great trait to have, don't shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable. You're meant to shine as much as everyone else is. And last but not least, we have Elsa from Frozen. Elsa symbolizes self-acceptance, overcoming fear, and embracing the power of your true self. She represents overcoming inner struggles, learning to let go of fear, and stepping into your full potential and realizing that the love you seek has often been around you all along. Elsa resonates with those who struggle with inner conflict or fear of judgment, or those afraid of their own power. If Elsa is your favorite, you likely struggle with vulnerability and may fear that showing your true self will lead to rejection. You might push people away or isolate yourself to avoid being hurt. But Elsa's journey teaches us that real strength comes from embracing our full selves, imperfections, and all. And one thing that I love about Frozen overall is that it's a reminder that the love that we seek isn't always romantic. It can be found in deep friendships, family, and most importantly, within ourselves. And like portrayed in the movie, oftentimes the more we learn to accept and love ourselves, the more we learn to accept and love others. Let go of the fear that you are too much or not enough. You don't have to hide who you are to be loved. You just have to accept yourself first, because true freedom comes when you stop seeking external validation and realize that you are already whole. Being afraid of your own power is also such a real thing, because life is also about sacrifices, right? The sacrifices are real, but if the goal is meaningful, it's worth it. You have too much to offer to the world to not even try. So step into your power, embrace what makes you unique, and trust that the right people will love you for exactly who you are. After diving into the world of Disney princesses, we've explored how they embody different aspects of confidence, resilience, self-acceptance, and growth. Each princess teaches us something truly unique. These characters don't just represent perfection. They show us the power of embracing flaws, navigating challenges, and evolving through hardships. Just like these princesses, we all have moments of vulnerability, moments where we're unsure of ourselves, or when the world just feels so incredibly heavy, but it's how we choose to navigate those moments that truly define our growth. It's okay to not have everything figured out, because I think that's part of what makes life so exciting. That's it for today. I hope that this episode was able to help you see yourself in a new light and bring you a step closer to creating your own happily ever after. Other than that, I hope to see you in the next one, and in the meantime, as always, stay hot. Bye!